This is Obabatunde from SWAT, and you're listening to Rave It Up. Why's it taking you so long to get to us?
Hey guys, it's Lauren Yates from Rave It Up here, and today we're going to be having a chat over Zoom with Australian alternative country music singer Riley Catherall from Melbourne. We have a talk to him all about his debut album, When I Go, and his brand new single, Bark at the Moon. Before we get into today's interview, we would like to give a shout out to our Patreons, Irene, Bev, and Michael. If you haven't heard of Patreon before, it is a great way to support us and keep us running and improving. You pick a membership tier that suits you and your budget per month, and in return for supporting us, we'll give you behind-the-scenes content and free stuff. You don't have to give much either. You can be a part of our Patreons for as little as $4 a month. Just visit patreon.com/raveitup. You can even donate through PayPal if you don't trust other sites. You can do so just through our email, raveituptv@gmail.com. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We appreciate anything you can do to support us. Riley, welcome to Rave It Up. It is a pleasure to finally have you on the show. How are you going today?
Doing good, thanks. How are you?
I am fantastic. I cannot wait to talk all about your new single because it is a hell of a track.
Thank
but
you.
Because this is your first time on the show, we'd actually love to get to know you a little bit better and start from the beginning, if that's okay, to get a good idea of how you've made it to where you are today.
Sure, sounds
Obviously,
good.
it sounds like music is such a big passion of yours. Was music always part of your family? Did you hear music growing up a lot? Or some of your family members already in music? How did that all happen for you?
Yeah, I feel as though I never really had a choice. I mean, my mum was a piano teacher and dad taught himself guitar, but not overly musical. Like, they weren't in the music industry by any means. But I feel as though I guess they saw the passion early enough that they sort of allowed me to choose what I wanted to do. And so I guess, yeah, coming out of school and already doing a couple of, corporate cover gigs and stuff, I sort of realized that I could make money out of it and, yeah, never looked back, I guess.
Oh, I'm so glad. So there was no other careers that you wanted to pursue that we might be even surprised of?
Well, actually, I went to uni for an archaeology degree.
That's different.
Randomly, yeah. And I'm currently doing my master's in ancient history of all things. So
wow.
I feel as though, they're not necessarily career choices, but they are things that I am interested in. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel as though doing music as a career was always the plan for sure.
Yeah, well, it's good to kind of have a little bit of two passions, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
that's
life,
it.
You don't have to just choose one thing in life. That's something I love. But I was really interested in knowing whether you were always such amazing student in English class and things like that, because you're such an amazing wordsmith. You always have incredible lyrics. They're almost like poems in a way. Best lyrics I've ever heard anyway.
Thank you.
So have you always been that talented at songwriting and just English in general?
I mean, I definitely took I think that's very kind. I feel as though I took an interest to the creative classes in English when I was at school. And I've definitely written some terrible things, but I feel as though,
somewhere.
yeah, I feel as though I was lucky in that I sort of got molded that side of things. And I really worked out my sound and what I really wanted to do early on. And like, there's recordings of, older songs of mine that hopefully will never see the light of day again. But I feel as though I tried to just get all of that out of my system earlier. And so, I guess that's what you sort of see now is just, probably over a decade's worth of really sort of honing that craft rather than just coming out of the gates now and having a half decent product for sure.
Oh, it's all trial and error, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And you sort of, it's a muscle and it's a skill that you have to work on, I guess.
Do you look at other artists too? Like, is there anybody that you find such a big inspiration when it comes to songwriting?
Yeah, I actually think, especially when I found myself in the country music world, which was the last place I thought I'd end up. Shane Nicholson was one of the artists that I was like, oh, this is how songwriting works. Like it's supposed to sound easy and it's supposed to sound relatable, and it's it's not necessarily about saying the most profound things, but you've got to make a 3.5 minute song listenable and relatable. And yeah, I think that's all part of telling a really quick, concise, heartfelt story.
Takes you to a whole new place. I think
Yeah.
that's the amazing thing about country music and why I also love it as well, because you don't really hear that much like that in pop music and stuff.
No.
It's feel good music. Country music is a
Yeah.
lot more deep and it
Well,
can be
that's
way,
it.
way more relatable.
I think I was always sort of told that different sort of music, you have head music where it makes you think, and you have heart music that makes you feel things. You've got loin music and leg music that make you dance. But I feel as though at the core of all of those styles of music, the song's got to work for what it's trying to do. And I feel like country music is where I really sort of fit in, because it was just, good storytelling songs that tug on the heartstrings. And yeah, at the core of all of that is just really great songwriting.
Yeah, absolutely. You've definitely found your niche, as they say.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I think these days as well, becoming a musician is just getting harder and harder because it seems like everybody wants to be one now, right? Especially with,
Yeah,
being able to put things up on YouTube and Spotify.
totally.
It's a lot easier, which is fantastic. But for people like you that really want to shine and get your stuff out there, there's a lot of challenges. What challenges have you found over the many, many years you've been doing this? And especially with COVID, like hitting in the middle of it too.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny, like I used to, before I was in the country music world, I used to see it as a little bit of a competition, not by, that's obviously a very unhealthy way to look at it, but I felt as though everyone was sort of climbing on top of each other to get somewhere. I think because it is so, it's more accessible to have a home recording set up and put songs out. And I guess with booking shows, there's lots more people who are booking shows, and straight out of COVID too, of like, if you weren't one of the first ones to start booking your tour, you'd find that all the venues would be all booked up. But I realized that in the country music world, it is much more of a sense of community, and people aren't holding, the answers or contacts or ways to do things close to their chest. It's all about helping each other out. So once I realized that you could embrace that, I guess, that direction in making music and making it a career, you don't have to be competing with everyone. Everyone's just doing their own thing. I feel like it's a much healthier way to also create as well, because you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. So
I do hear that from a lot of country music people I talk to. It seems like so much more like a actual community and family, isn't it?
And it's nice too, and it's the few festivals that happen, around the year, whether it's Tamworth or Gympie, like you sort of rock up and you haven't seen these musicians for 12 months or whatever, and you're just like old friends. And everyone, the co-writing thing is also a huge thing that I am definitely new to, but I just love it. Like it's really cool, just making the entire thing a collaborative effort. It's really cool.
Yeah, of course. Two heads, three heads, better than one, right?
That's right.
Well, if our audience have never heard of you today and they kind of want to go back and check out some of your other tracks, your first EP was titled Venture in Vain. When did you release this?
I released that would have been 2018, I think. I recorded it in 2017. Oh, it does. I recorded it in 2017, and then just sat on it for ages. I think it was that thing where I felt like I'd finally found the style of music I wanted to write in, but I wasn't completely sure. So I recorded it and I just sat on it, and I sort of just was like, is this really what I want to do? I also knew that once I started releasing music of that sort of sound, I didn't want to ever go into any sort of hiatus. I wanted to release music and then continue to release music. So, but yeah, that was 4 years ago. So that's pretty crazy.
Is that also like a bit of a perfectionist thing as well? Like you have that fear of not wanting to release something because you're like, to me, it's not perfect yet.
Yeah, I think like, and a lot of musicians would probably relate that when you create something for a long time, that product exists in some sort of infinity where it hasn't been released yet, and it just has like these endless possibilities of where it could go. It could, I mean, like, we have to be realistic about it, but it's not going to blow up overnight. But you obviously wouldn't put songs out unless you were, you believed in them and you were really proud of them. And then all of a sudden, when you actually put the music out, it's just there, and people either like it or they don't like it. So I feel as though less so of being a perfectionist thing. It's almost like this dreamer state where it exists only in your mind and no one else has heard it yet. So it's like a safe space, you know. So, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to get it out, and that's how you progress, I guess.
Only your baby.
Exactly, exactly. You could tell everyone it's like, oh no, it's really, really good. Just wait till you hear it, and then never release it.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
But kind of, excuse me, ruins the whole seeing whether other people do like it and whether you're just being, I guess,
Yeah.
biased about the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. I used to, I had a few conversations with people where they would go, oh, when's the album out? And be always like, oh, yeah, before Christmas, whether or not that's this Christmas or next Christmas. But everyone would get really excited about it. And then it's like, oh, God, I'm actually going to have to put this thing out and people are going to judge it,
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. So I don't know.
Especially if they're excited for it. They're like,
Exactly,
when is this
yeah.
thing happening?
But I feel as though I've gotten a lot better with that, where I'm very conscious of, well, especially now that I have, that first EP and now I have my first record out as well. It's almost like that's the foundation. If people want to hear me, they can go there, and everything else is just like any sort of progression or a bonus of me moving to different places. So it's nice to have that foundation there. To now I'm a little less precious about putting songs out, for sure.
Oh, good. And where did the whole name Venture in Vain come from? It's such a unique name and very catchy too.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a line in one of the songs, but I guess I chose it as the title of the EP because of that thing. It was me sort of going into a new musical space and not really knowing whether it was going to work out. And yeah, I think it was just like, oh, let's do it. Why waste time? Let's just get into it.
Try to find the best line in one of the songs and go for it.
I also like, that EP had 5 songs on it, and I didn't necessarily think that any of the titles of those songs made for a good EP title. So it's like I have to find something else that I've come up with and make that the title. So
yeah. And your debut album as well is titled When I Go, and an accumulation for our audience, accumulation of songs about leaving and losing love, finding somewhere to settle down. What is your personal favorite there, Riley? Is that kind of hard to choose? It's like your favorite baby?
Yeah, it does change. There was a lot of songs on that I was really proud of when I wrote them, and some of them are staples in the set still. I think The Ferryman or Germany would be my favorite song, as in time and time again, I just appreciate it, and I know that I'm going to appreciate it forever.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for if I'm changing styles later on. I feel as though those are the songs which just at their core represented that period of time for me, and I'm also really proud of as songs. So I think that's important.
Yeah. And you always find, like, because for me saying it's an accumulation of songs about leaving and losing love and all that, do you find things like, finding love, losing love, kind of make the best songs, especially in country music? I always find they're very, very common.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel as though, I mean, most musicians will tell you it's pretty hard to write a happy song or a convincingly happy song. I feel as though it's a theme that everyone sort of draws upon. I think it's just about trying to do it differently, so you have something new to say.
It's kind of depressing when you think about it.
It is,
that it's hard to write a happy song.
It is, I know. But it comes back to that thing of the songwriter's job is to make people feel things, and often people turn to music when they're feeling lonely or they're looking for somebody to relate to, and often that's because emotions are heightened, and I guess you notice your emotions heightened when you're sad rather than when you're happy. So
that's true,
which is really sad.
Never thought about it that way, but we can all relate to finding and losing love.
That's it.
And your single out now that everyone can go check out, Bark at the Moon. Is it true that you were kind of like stuck after your album and before this track? Was it a bit of writer's block?
Yeah, I guess it was. I think, putting an album out, there was a lot of work involved that isn't necessarily creative. It's the booking the tour, it's making sure the album artwork is good, and everything comes together, and distributing it
and the promotion,
marketing, all of that sort of stuff that I'm no good at. But it's, you put a different hat on as a musician to do all of those different jobs. And I felt like I'd gone 6 months without writing a song. And so it came to the time where I was like, okay, the album's out, time to write some new songs. And I was sort of just writing crap for such a long time. And then this song sort of fell out in an afternoon, one of them sort of magical instances where a song didn't exist 1 minute and then it did, you know. And I was really excited about it. And I demoed it in my room with my, you know, my little recording setup, and it sort of captured the soul of the song in that moment. And that's actually become the release recording. So that was a new thing for me as well. But yeah, I guess it was just, you know, being excited about the next step for sure.
Yeah. How do you get out of that writer's block? You just kind of take a step away, do something else and come back to it, or just let inspiration strike when it wants to? I'd like
to say that I should just let it strike when it wants to, but, you know, I might never write a song again. So
exactly. Sometimes you got, you know, deadlines.
Yeah. And I feel as though I've figured out some triggers of mine, which are, you know, immersing myself in other kinds of music, whether it be listening, you know, whilst I'm driving. But a main thing is going out and seeing other people play, or also I'm in a couple of different projects where I just play guitar. And so like seeing other people write songs and, you know, the evolution of their songs come together in a rehearsal room, that's often like inspiring for me to go, oh yeah, I like that one single line, or I like that theme that you're writing about, that could, you know, spark something in myself. So I mean, a lot of it is, taking inspiration, sometimes very literally copying somebody else's line. I'm not afraid to say that, but yeah, sometimes that's what it takes to just, you know, spur that creativity again.
To kind of just go down a different path.
Yeah.
That might be different for you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in a previous quote too, you've said that this song is a real exercise in not trying to overwrite new material. Can you please tell us what overwriting means? Is it trying to make it too perfect, as we were saying before?
Yeah, I think, you know, as I said, like I started to write a couple of songs and I thought that they weren't very good. And so often I'll just abandon them. And I guess with songwriting, you know, half of songwriting is starting the song, finding that inspiration, actually start writing something, and then you sort of forget that as a songwriting muscle, you need to practice finishing songs as well. And this was one of them ones where as I was writing it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a bit of a naff line, but, you know, just get through it. Let's practice getting to the end of the song, and you can come back and you can edit it later. And so I realized that there was an element of just sort of pouring things out with this song, and you know, a few little tweaks at the end, but I also wasn't too precious about, you know, making everything work on a meter level, on a you know, consistent melody level, but just making it, hey, let's tell a good story and let's just get the song finished so we can move on, sort of thing. So
move on to the next one.
Yeah, and then it turned out to be, you know, a really, really exciting thing. So it was maybe I'm onto something.
Well, you also just said recently you've never been this excited to show people a song. How come this is like your new favorite?
I don't know. Maybe it is because I've just been out of the, you know, writing songs for a little while. But this sort of showed me, I guess reminded me that I know how to do it, for starters. And it was, I guess the whole thing of me writing it in an hour and then demoing it in an hour. I actually went into the studio to re-record this, and we just didn't quite capture it. And so then we had to have that hard conversation with the producer to say, hey, I actually have a demo of this at home. Can we just, you know, mix that one? And so it was about just trusting my gut on that and sort of proving that I had the ability to sort of capture the essence of the song in that initial sort of period after it had been written. And so I guess all of that just as a culmination was just exciting to do something new. And it's you're right, you know, I was very excited just for people to hear it.
Yeah, and an hour, that is impressive.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. You know, it never ever happens like that. So when it does, you're like, okay, cool, I'm onto something here. But then you also have to think, you know, maybe I'm rushing this, you know, like maybe I'm really excited about it, and then like in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to go, oh no, that's a bad song. You know? So I think it was just about, all right, just believe in it and get it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really like it, and I hope everyone else does too. And I love how it's put this way. It spins the tale of two lovers chasing a passion as fleeting as a moonlit night. I love that. where did this whole inspiration come from for you? Was that from somebody else too?
No, this one, I mean, like this song spurred from a rehearsal I was actually in with my band, and somebody played like three notes, and it was the da 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 da, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then
Like my favorite part of the whole song.
yeah, and then it just went, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But the actual, I feel as though when I'm writing songs, I often just like blurt out phonetic nonsense that aren't really words, and then I find a little couple of words that sound like those, phonetic sounds that I make, and then I had this idea to write this song about. I must have had a night out, and I sort of liked that early morning, commute home with all the other riffraff, and then I was just thinking about previous times where I'd spent the night, trying to, as a teenage lover, you're driving around doing dumb things and not getting any sleep and trying to find the best place to see the sunrise, and not necessarily missing those times, but just also acknowledging for them for what they were, and at the time realizing that they do sort of come and go really quickly, and just to enjoy them while they happen. So I think it was just I think it's a nice sort of feel good thing, and at the end of the song, it's not like you've said goodbye and you're really sad. It's sort of just going, hey, hope you're well, it was a lot of fun, wasn't it, sort of thing. So it's not necessarily a sad love song. It's a just stands for a moment in time sort of love song.
Yeah, of course. And why bark at the moon? Where did that whole analogy come from? I was like, that's random.
And a few people have said, oh, isn't it howl at the moon? I'm like, yeah, I guess it probably is, but I don't know.
Correct me.
Yeah, I was like, it's my song, But,
I'll make it the way I want to.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of just like going out and just, being idiots in the moonlight sort of thing. And there's something a little less conformative to bark at the moon rather than, I don't know, doesn't matter. Bark, howl, it's all synonymous, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, something I love about this track, and I hope everyone else does too, is just the melody. It's so catchy. Did that all come naturally to you? And for your sort of process of making a song, does that come first, or do the lyrics come first for you?
Yeah, in this instance, the melody was definitely there first. And I feel as though I can attribute, some catchier melodies that I have in my songs to, again, playing with different people. Like I play in a couple of country outfits, but I also play in a couple of like pop, indie, sort of almost shoegazy outfits. And so, there's a lot of melody heavy songs that I go, oh man, that's such a cool earworm. Why can't I write cool earworms like that? And so then all of a sudden, and so all of a sudden the goal for that week is to write a cool melody, rather than try to say anything profound like the folk guys that I hang out with. So I don't know. Yeah, it's one of them things that if it gets stuck in my head, I just hope that it gets stuck in somebody else's head.
So it's always the melody usually that comes first for you, no matter what the song is.
I mean, like, when I'm driving, I might have an idea of a concept, some lyrical concept. I'll put some words down on a, in the notes part of my phone or something, but it's often I'll try to find some sort of, rhythm, metric sort of melody to that set of words. And then it's about, okay, cool, how do I make this tonally jump around so it's a catchy song, Sometimes it doesn't need it, but I felt like a song like this was going to be a quick, fun, catchy little almost pop tune, so
yeah, I say party for the ears.
Party for the ears, that's a good one.
You can use it anytime you want.
Thank you.
And is it true that your band did all the recording of the rhythm parts remotely? That must have been a whole nother challenge in itself.
Yeah, well, as I said, this sort of happened really quick, and I demoed everything to the level that I could in my room, and then I sent the MP3 off to my bass player and my drummer, who then, within an hour, they sent back their really quick parts as well. So, and then the vocal chant I sent out to a whole heap of friends of mine, just said, hey, I'm not going to show you the rest of the song. Just, can you just sing these 4 lines over and over and over again, yell them into a microphone or something. And so it was a real sort of blinded collaborative effort that just, sort of came together like that really quickly. And yeah, I guess really magically as well. It was really nice.
And the whole music video obviously goes with the whole, inspiration of the song, really,
Yeah.
about driving around early hours
Yeah.
in the morning. It's all on YouTube for everyone to check out if they haven't already. And your real life partner, I did read, Lily,
Yeah.
was actually your main girl. So
Yeah.
did that even feel like work for you? Was it just you
No,
guys could just have fun all night, or
it was
early's out in the
funny.
morning?
It was funny, because like I had this idea and like we actually filmed it out in the Alinda, which is like an arboretum out in the Yarra Ranges, and it definitely played a part. I've definitely been out there in earlier years, and that sort of captured the essence of the song. And then I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And I thought I could get an actor in, but it's going to be strange. And then Lil was like, I'll just do it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. And like, it had the authentic sort of essence to it as well. But it was a little strange because we were just hanging out, and then there was, the camera crew there as
Watching you,
well.
yes.
So it was definitely strange, but yeah.
Now you know how reality TV stars feel.
Exactly,
You're
yeah.
on your date and you got cameras there.
Exactly, yeah. But I know I've got that sort of feedback where people go, it looked natural and it looked authentic. So I guess it worked for that. So yeah.
And how long was the whole shoot day? I'm
We did
guessing
it
you've
over-
only got a certain amount of time to get that done.
Yeah, we did. And it was in between two trips that I was doing on tour. So we had like this 24-hour window where this was the only time that we could get the filming done. And we went out late one night and then very early the very next morning, before obviously the sun come up. And it was like, the 4th of June or something, and it was so bloody cold. And,
Yeah.
and Lil's out there in like some overalls and stuff, and she's so cold. Oh yeah, it was. I asked a lot of people that morning, but yeah, we pulled it off.
Did you get sick afterwards? Or did
She
Lil
did,
get
yeah,
sick?
she did, yeah. I think we're all a little, and like the guy who filmed it, Tyler, he's a good friend of mine, and he'd just flown back from Fiji, where he was having his honeymoon. He flew straight to Melbourne for
Oh my
for the shoot, and he had food poisoning from the plane. And it was just, it was one of them things where all of the we had all the odds stacked against us, but it still worked out.
Still worked out. That's good. Gee, he's dedicated to come
He
right
is.
after his honeymoon.
Yes. Oh man, I don't know whether I hope he didn't cut it short. I don't think he did, but yeah.
Yeah, otherwise his new wife would not be happy.
No.
And how do you prep for a long evening like that? Did you just sleep all day, or you're like, I'll just sleep tomorrow?
Well, I feel as though like as a musician, it's almost shift work. So my body just does what it has to do to get through,
Yeah.
Whereas the other guys, like my girlfriend Lil, she gets up really early every morning. So the early morning was fine for her, but the late night, the night before was a bit much. So I was very happy to have, and we had my friend there to take photos as well. And, he brought the coffee as well. So there was a lot of coffee involved.
Yeah, of course. Lots of caffeine. And you're on a 2-month-long tour as well, promoting your album, and you're visiting places like Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Sydney, Bathurst, Canberra, Melbourne, and Geelong. There's just a few places, guys. Where are you most excited to visit? Are they all places you've gone before to tour?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I don't know. I'm heading up to Queensland at the end of this week, and I haven't played up there as a solo artist yet, so that'll be interesting. And it is like it's the weekend of the day of mourning and the AFL Grand Final. Everything seems to be happening on the one weekend, but I don't know. It's all a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing shows for people outside of Melbourne, but I also just enjoy the traveling side of things as well. So I think it's all going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, hopefully people come out and catch a show.
Yeah, support you. I did also read too, you'll be supporting, was it Charmer Finches in Queensland and New South Wales, as well as the Whitlams in Goulburn. So how long is your set for those shows? And do you perform a lot of your own songs as well? Do you even have time?
Yeah, I mean, like those ones, they're usually like half an hour, 40 minutes, and I sort of just pick my own greatest hits, the songs that I like the most and the songs that I think sell the most records, and often that involves quite a lot of terrible stage banter as well. So
Something
I
you
don't
don't
know.
think you're good at?
Well, I feel like I've said that I've had the same sort of list of jokes that have been kicking around that I feel like I've ironed them out a little bit. People seem to laugh, so that's nice.
Well, even though you've heard them 1,000 times.
I've heard them 1,000 times.
Maybe not everyone else in the audience has. Maybe they're hearing it for the first time.
And a few people who've like been to a few shows, they go, "Oh yeah, I know where this is going. Oh yeah, nice one, Riley. Yeah, I've heard that one before." But anyway, it's all part of it. You know, the whole thing is a bit of a spectacle. It's a stage show that you rehearse the songs and rehearse getting on and off stage. It's a whole thing. So
kind of like stand-up comedy. They still have they're always the same jokes. They might just chuck a few new ones in.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So can you actually share with us some of those songs that you will be performing, or is that a bit of a secret still?
No, I mean, like it's, the normal staples are, I'll play Mother Please, I'll play Germany, I'll play The Ferryman, Vacant Lots sometimes in there, Leave Me Out to Dry. There's an older song off the EP called Robin that I play every night. I'll obviously play Bark at the Moon.
I would hope so.
I have to, and I also, if I have time, I like to sort of give the audience a bit of a glimpse of where I'm going as well. So there's, there might be a few new songs that aren't recorded yet. It's also important, I guess, to play those songs and sort of put them through the paces of touring them and seeing how they, audiences do react to them. So, I feel like there is quite a lot of thinking involved into what goes into a set list, and it can be different each night, but it usually is the same set of songs each night.
Yeah, and come up with maybe different ways of sharing your stories.
Yeah, and then, sometimes one song goes into another song the right way because of the story or something, but yeah, for the most part it's the same songs, just manipulated and swapped around.
Well, good luck with it all. Hope to see you perform one day soon.
Thank you.
Now, before we finish up today and even play a game, which would be really fun before we finish up, Riley, I wanted to know, do you have any advice for our audience today who might want to follow their dreams of becoming a singer or a songwriter as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel as though before I started making this sort of music, I really went out and I listened to a lot, and I just watched and observed and saw how people did it, how they released music, how they conducted it, even like a social media plan, all that sort of thing. I don't know. I think it's about just having a plan and sort of doing a lot of research, and then also just working on your craft as well. I feel like that's the most important thing over anything. It's like you can have a great branding and social media plan, but if you don't have the product to back it up. So, songwriting is practicing songwriting. So if you want to be a songwriter, make sure that you're writing songs. Sometimes that means forcing them out and copying other people, but I don't know. I feel as though there's just no right way to go about any of this. So you see other people doing things and you might try it, and if it doesn't work, then that's just one way it didn't work. There's millions of other ways to sort of figure it out. So just do it.
That's so true. That's why I like these interviews, because there's also so many different ways to get into the industry too. And some people are just lucky enough they get a break like that. Sometimes people got to work for 10 years.
I think that's it. You just don't model yourself on anyone else because, maybe it was a big bout of luck that they got to where they are, but you've sort of just got to work on the things you can control, and that is the craft, So.
Oh, thank you very much. I hope everyone takes that on board. Now, I think it's time for the legendary 2-minute hot seat now, Riley. Ooh, exciting.
Right.
It's a game here in Rave It Up where I ask you various questions. You just have to pick your preference. So it's like dogs or cats or singing or dancing. And you have to answer as many questions in 2 minutes as possible. Now, there is a bit of a competitive element too. If you answer as many questions in 2 minutes as possible, we'll see where you sit on the leaderboard up against everyone else that's played the game on the show. Okay. People love competition, don't they?
Yes. I have to win. It's Monday morning and I haven't won anything yet, so let's do it.
It's a good way to start the week then. You can say, I won a game.
Yes.
So to give you an idea, especially with Zoom interviews, and I always give you about 2 minutes 15 just to be fair since there's a little bit of delay.
Sure.
At the top of the Zoom Rave It Up leaderboard answered 61 questions.
61 questions?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Got to beat them, right?
Okay.
All right, let me get my stopwatch out and let's change the view on the camera so I can see us both. Here we go. Are you ready, Riley?
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Rap or rock?
Rock.
Rock or pop?
Rock.
Pop or country?
Country.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Skiing or snowboarding?
Skiing.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Sunglasses or hat?
Hat.
SUV or convertible?
SUV.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
PlayStation or Wii?
PlayStation.
Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Italian or Chinese food?
Chinese food.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Kim Kardashian or Scarlett Johansson?
Can I go back? That was winter. Scarlett Johansson.
Johnny Depp or Will Smith?
Will Smith.
Mall or online shopping?
Mall.
Cinema or home movie?
Cinema.
Ice cream or gelato?
Ice cream.
Cake or cookies?
Cake.
Cookies or cookie dough?
Cookies.
Family or friends?
Family.
Football or soccer?
Football.
Christmas or your birthday?
Christmas.
Night or day?
Night.
Bus or train?
Bus.
Straight or curly hair?
Straight.
Eye color blue or brown?
Brown.
Vampire or werewolf?
Vampire.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Sydney or Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Starbucks or Gloria Jeans?
Gloria Jeans.
Snow or surf?
Surf.
Harry Potter or Twilight?
Harry Potter.
Family Guy or The Simpsons?
Simpsons.
McDonald's or Hungry Jack's?
McDonald's.
Red Rooster or KFC?
KFC.
French fries or chips?
French fries.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Pies or sausage rolls?
Pies.
Tomato sauce or barbecue sauce?
Tomato sauce.
Guitar or drums?
Guitar.
Sneakers or thongs?
Sneakers.
Bike or scooter?
Bike.
Leather or denim?
Leather.
City or country?
Country.
Biting your nails or picking your nose?
Picking your nose.
Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos.
Backpack or suitcase?
Backpack.
Pen or pencil?
Pencil.
Mum or dad?
Oh shit. Dad.
Headphones or speakers?
Headphones.
Book or magazine?
Magazine.
Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Board shorts or speedos?
Speedos.
And we're out of time.
Oh,
All
God.
right.
That's like the psych test that you do to get into the army. Jesus.
Are you going to get in trouble now with the mum and dad question? Everyone stops at that one going, no!
I also had to think when you said blondes or brunette, and I was like, because my girlfriend's changed their hair a couple of times. I'm just like, God, what is the right answer here?
Or sometimes people are like, I'm blonde or I'm brunette, but I prefer blonde the other
Yeah.
one.
Oh, exactly.
Like, how do I answer that?
Oh, God.
How many questions do you think you answered in that time, Riley?
I don't know.
Do you think you beat the 61 questions?
61 is a lot of questions. I don't
You were
think...
getting really fast near the end there.
What'd I get?
Oh, well, I'm happy to say you did beat them. Woo! You answered 63 questions.
Oh, God.
Doesn't that feel great? What a great
does.
way to start your Monday morning.
That's right. Start my week on a
Top
win.
of the Rave It Up leaderboard.
Yeah, amazing.
I love it. That was so much fun. And a great way for the fans to get to know you a little bit better too.
Yeah, and a great way to get in trouble on multiple fronts. So thanks for that.
Good luck with your girlfriend and good luck with your mum and dad.
Thank you.
It's like, this is your time to do a shout out to your mum and your girlfriend that you still love them.
Yep, I love you both. Sorry.
Well, we are unfortunately getting to the end of the interview now, Riley. It's been a lot of fun. Great way to end it today.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. But a little bit more serious now. Knowing what you know now, because this is the most important question on Rave It Up. We always end with this. We've got a whole book about it now behind me. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
I guess, just enjoy what you're doing because one day you're going to be doing it for work, I feel like oftentimes you get really caught up in making what you love a chore or making it work, and oftentimes they can turn it into a chore, and it's just like, just enjoy it while you can just enjoy it. So I don't know, and also just set up a bit of a foundation or a bit of a structure so you can constantly remind yourself of that. But yeah, I don't know.
That love, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't call it work.
Don't call it work, exactly.
Yeah, that might be the secret that we're all needing to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if our audience want to contact you, find out what you're up to in the future, go buy tickets, all that jazz, where should we go?
RileyCatherall.com is probably the best place. It'll shoot you in all the right directions. There's tickets and merch and show dates and all of that sort of thing all on there. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'm guessing Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
all the social
Yeah.
medias. Type
All
you
those
into Google,
things.
we'll find
That's
him.
right. All of the things that I'm constantly trying to keep up on. So yeah.
Yeah, well, don't worry, we all feel that pain. It is
Yeah,
hard.
it is.
And it just keeps coming up with new things. I
Yeah,
have
all of a
not got
sudden
on
there's a new one.
TikTok for
No,
the reason I don't want to update that.
it's another thing. Exactly.
Who cares? Sorry, I'm sorry for the audience that love TikTok,
That
but
love
I'm not
TikTok.
getting on it. I just not my thing. I already
No.
got enough stuff to update.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Riley. You're welcome on the show anytime, all right? Just keep in contact.
Will do. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's interview. If you'd like to check out any of our other interviews, please visit our website, raveituptv.com. All of the podcasts and videos are there for you to enjoy. And while you're there, please also check out our book, Knowing What I Know Now, as well as a mini ebook that I wrote last year called Staying Strong, Finding Inner Peace During Hard Times. And if you'd like to further support us here at Rave It Up, please also visit patreon.com/Rave It Up. You can pick a membership tier that works with you and your budget for as little as $4 a month. It's like a coffee, right, guys? And in return, you get a lot of free stuff and bonus content at Rave It Up, including early releases of these interviews. So please check it out and share it with your friends. But for now, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.